the second ever meeting of the Community Preservation Committee. And tonight is the big night. The committee is going to organize and select its officers and begin talking about a plan. This meeting is being taped on Zoom due to Governor Baker's declared public health emergency, and it'll be replayed on Berlin Cable Access and on YouTube. So the first item of business tonight is to organize the committee. Do I hear any nominations for chair?
I nominate Tim Wheeler.
Second. Oh, I forgot. I'm not officially appointed.
I second.
Okay.
Are you sure you want to do that?
If you're willing to accept.
Yeah, the nice thing about being chair is to let everybody else do the work, so.
Well, that's a positive, isn't it?
What?
That's a positive, isn't it?
Yeah,
All right, so do I hear any other nominations? Okay, no other nominations. I will call for a roll call vote, please. Just give your name and indicate your vote.
Elaine, yes.
MJ, yes.
James, yes.
Tim, yes.
Okay, that is unanimous. So Tim, I will hand it over to you for nominations for other committee officers.
So we want a clerk and we want a vice chair. What else do we need? That it?
I don't, the statute doesn't specify. I think a clerk and a vice chair for now would do.
Yeah. Okay, does anyone want to nominate anyone for vice chair?
James, for vice chair.
Do we have a second?
I will second James for vice chair.
And do we have any other nominations? Hearing none. James, are you willing to accept that nomination if you're?
I don't know what it entails, but yes, I'll do it.
It means that if I'm not here, you get to tell everybody else that they have to do all the work, so.
I like the sound of that then.
Yeah.
Much more than clerk, so
So
I'll take
we'll do a roll call vote on electing James as vice chair. Elaine
Yes.
and MJ
Yes.
and Tim, yes, and James.
yes.
So that's a vote. We're all set on that. Do we have a nomination for clerk?
How about MJ?
I'm not sure that's the best idea. I'm not very good at note taking.
Well, we can do, all right.
We can work that out when we have more members.
Well, your other option is to nominate and vote Carolyn and
Carolyn is about to join your meeting.
oh, good. We'll wait. We'll wait on this one for a
Okay.
moment then.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, she should be getting on. She says, are we having a meeting right now that I'm missing? I said, yeah.
Well, you know, I went through emails today because I said, I am so messed up. And I found different meetings I was supposed to go to, but
Mhm.
for some reason, this one kept lingering on in my mind, but I didn't discover it, so.
Well, now you've paid the price. We made you chair for your,
Yep.
your lack of alacrity.
Okay, can you tell me, I missed that little part where you took nominations for clerk. Who nominated Carolyn?
I don't think we officially
Well,
announced.
it's not
We
it yet.
didn't get that far.
We didn't
Oh,
get that far
okay.
yet.
Okay,
We thought we'd wait for her arrival.
all right, all right, I am watching for her.
Did you find a phone number for her?
I did. I had a text for someone who I thought might have a phone number for her. It's good to have those connections.
That's great.
Here she is. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Sorry.
That's all right.
I've
I can forgive
actually,
you because I was late too.
I've actually been homesick. So I keep all of my schedules at work and haven't been at work since Wednesday. So
Well, we appreciate you joining us. We're about to take nominations. Well, there's been a nomination and I've been voted chair and James has been voted vice chair. And now we're about to take nominations for clerk. Do we have any nominations for clerk?
We were going to nominate you, Carolyn, but you weren't here, so we'll now, so now we will.
so taking the minutes and such.
If you're willing.
Until you have an administrative support person.
That's right. Do we have a second?
I second the nomination.
And Carolyn, is that all right with you?
Sure.
I mean, the benefit of being on this committee is, as Margaret's pointed out, there is the potential for support here down the road. So
Right. Yep.
once we have money in 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote on that. Elaine
Yes,
and MJ,
Yes,
James,
Yes.
Tim, yes, Carolyn.
Yes.
All right, so Carolyn will be clerk and we'll ask her, unless Margaret wants to continue to take minutes for the rest of this meeting.
Oh, I've done the first half. Carolyn, could you do the second half?
There you go.
Sure.
Is the meeting half over
I shouldn't
already?
say first half. I've done the intro.
Right. And the meetings will be available on the YouTube channel.
Sure will. It's being
All right.
recorded.
That is
And put
the
it
easiest-
on and send it to mytowngovernment.org,
Okay.
the printed minute.
Great.
Thank you.
And Margaret, can you remind us what else? So the rest of the agenda is just the plan?
You need to start thinking about a plan. That's what Stuart gave for the committee's work. Start thinking about a plan. Yes.
So when do we do the budgets?
yeah, I thought that was the first thing he told us to do.
Right. We've got 3
The
budgets that we have to put together.
Oh, he told you that was the first thing? Okay.
Right.
I apologize. I wasn't able to attend your whole meeting that
Oh,
night.
right. Yes.
So someone's going to have to bring me back to earth here. We've got to do the 2020 budget and the 2021 budget. Is that right?
Correct. And then we need 2022
To
in
get ready,
place for the annual town meeting.
town
yeah.
meeting. And we can function, we can go ahead and deal with the 2020 budget. I don't have my notes in front of me.
Right. So what I have in my notes is that what we really should just do is put the 10% into the 3 categories that get 10% and the rest
Unrestricted.
unrestricted, right? And not designated either.
Correct.
Right.
Right. And we really should do that probably for 2021 also.
Right.
Wasn't there a separate one also for administrative? For 5% for administrative?
Do we want to start putting that
Wasn't-
money aside yet? Since we don't have any administrative costs?
Right. I don't,
If
he
we-
seemed to think those
Yeah.
3.
There may be administrative costs that we incur between now and the annual town meeting that we'd have to expend out of the 2020 budget, I would assume, right?
2020 or 21? Aren't we in FY 21 now?
Yeah, 2021.
Right.
So if we were gonna host hearings or, notices in the paper, any of that stuff, we'd have to expend some funds. The only way we attach those, I would assume, is if we put aside that 5%. And he urged us to do the max and then roll in anything that's left over. So,
Right.
Wasn't there one year, I think for the 2021 where because we weren't constituted at the time, we had to ask the town accountant to set the 10% aside for us or something to that effect? Does that sound
yeah,
at all familiar? Because I think there's one year we had to ask them to do it, and I think for that year, we couldn't set aside the administrative, we could only ask for the 10% set aside for each of the main categories.
Right, I think that was for the first year. That we just did the 3 allocations and not the administrative, because it's already gone by
okay.
and the money is there, but it has to be designated.
So what we'll do is entertain a motion to put 10% in each of the 3 categories for the 2020 budget, is what we're saying right now.
Right. Yeah, we have to take each one separately.
So we want a motion for that. Does someone want to make that motion?
So moved.
In a
Second,
second?
second,
Okay, so this is a motion to place 10% of any 2020 funds into the 3 categories. Right?
Yep. And designate the rest, the remaining 70% unrestricted
Right.
and undesignated. Is that
Right.
the wording, Eloise?
Yeah,
Okay.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
All right, we'll take a
Yes.
roll call vote on that then. Elaine,
yes,
MJ,
Yes,
James,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Tim, yes. Okay, good. Now, 2021, we do the same with the 10% and we hold 5% for administrative. Is
yes,
that right?
yes,
Sounds good.
So we want a motion for that.
so moved.
Second?
second,
Okay, good. And any questions on that one?
I was
So
just
it's-
looking at the PowerPoint
Oh, good.
Stuart, I can show it on the screen if you'd like.
That'd be great.
I could show that page. So this is FY 21.
that
You've
we're
already-
currently in,
Excuse me,
that we're currently in.
that we're currently in, yeah.
Right.
You just took care of FY 20. And I think that everything is all set with that. I don't know that requires town meeting vote. It looks like town meeting does have to vote to approve the transfers for FY 21. So we may be able to squeeze this into a spring 21 special.
CPA must recommend.
Is there
transfer.
talk of that happening?
Well, there is an indefinitely postponed special town meeting that we have kind of sitting out there. The board could potentially add an article to that warrant.
Or add it at the beginning of the annual like you did last year.
Yeah.
Right.
would
So
the annual town meeting still be May, June, or would that get pushed back with everything?
Under the bylaw, the annual town meeting is always the first Monday in May, and the second Monday is the annual town election. If it seems dangerous at that time, the selectmen have the authority to move it in the interests of public safety.
I don't know about you all, but I'm hoping that we can get back to some sort of normal schedule next year at some point.
right?
So then this motion is to place an article on the warrant to transfer the 10% into each of the 3 reserves. And 5%. Somehow they explained to us how we could squeeze that 5% and make it available before the annual town meeting, didn't they?
Did he do that on a slide?
No, I think he
No,
was
It was
talking
an
about it.
aside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we'd have to go back and watch the
Yeah.
meeting.
So this will then just deal with the 10%. This is a recommendation to place an article on the warrant to put 10% into the 3 categories and the 70%. Well, we don't want to be careful about that.
Are we voting for the article, or are we voting for the budget first? Do we have to vote the budget between us first and then,
What do you
or
think?
just do it all at once?
I think we could do it at once. We are motioning for the budget and to place the,
To place it on the warrant?
Warrant,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And who made the motion?
I did.
Elaine
Elaine did, and MJ seconded
was
it.
the second.
So everybody's fine with that modified motion?
Yep.
Elaine, you
Yes.
are?
Yeah.
And
that-
MJ?
And that, does that put 5% aside too for expenses?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think we can for FY21 unless we did whatever Stuart was telling us,
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay.
but I don't think, but I would think by the time we would actually expend any administrative funds, we would,
Be in
So-
FY 22.
You know,
Well,
because we're gonna place this on the warrant, we don't need to clean this up entirely tonight.
true.
What we need to do is discover how we capture the 5% ahead of time, and if we're able to do that, then that would mean there'd be 65% available for the excess fund, the whatever they call it, right?
Right.
Yep.
So why don't we hold off on moving forward with this recommendation and a vote on this one till our next meeting, and we can clarify that 5%.
Okay.
Is that all right with everybody?
Yep.
Okay. And it seems as though the 22 budget can wait till our next meeting as well, right?
Yeah, we have plenty of time
So
for
I'll
that.
put it. Oh, it was right here. Okay, there's 22.
So that's interesting. So that's where he put in the 5%.
But he did explain there was a means of capturing 5% for this year.
For
Correct.
this year.
Yeah.
Right.
So we just need to go back and listen to that tape balance. Okay, good. All right. So we're square on the budget for now.
I believe so.
Okay.
You got a slide on the plan, Margaret?
Did he show slides on the plan? If he
Well, I
did,
was-
I can,
I wondered if, I'm trying to recall if he gave us some little cheat sheet.
Not towards the end, he did.
toward the end. Basic tenets, legislative body. Oh, those are all just popular uses.
well, there are on the site for his organization, there are 5 sample ones.
Yeah, if you'd like, I can stop sharing, go into their site and see if I can pull up at least a table of contents for one of the,
That'd be great.
okay. I'll do that.
They're all fairly long. I was looking through them, just kind of skimming it before the meeting, and the ones they showed it, the shortest one was like 20 pages, and I think yeah,
Which one was that? Let's pull up the shortest one.
The
Lexington.
20-page one.
Lexington was 20 pages. I think Plimpton was technically maybe a tiny bit shorter, but seemed a little more chaotic.
All right. So we have Canton, Acton, Gloucester, Lexington, and Plimpton. Which one?
I would say Lexington would be,
Pull up Lexington? Okay.
some of them went closer to like 40 pages, which seemed excessive.
Okay. All right, I'll pull up Lexington and I
It
will,
all seemed kind of excessive.
Yeah.
all right. So bear with me. I'll scroll right down to a table of contents here so you can, this is the needs assessment, huh? Okay. Doesn't tell us much, but where would you like me to go with this?
So they just break it out into the
Right,
well,
into the
the
categories.
three headings with two for open space and recreation, one for each, huh?
Hmm.
Why don't you pull up, just bring us to the overview. Let's see what they
Okay.
delved
Okay.
into in that.
Okay, there it is. Can you see this okay, or is it too small?
CPA consists
It's not bad.
That's fine.
So that's just the structure, huh?
Right.
Alright.
I've looking through the various proposals, a lot of it detailed elements of the structure. Things like that table that Stuart showed us about what uses you could have, that made it into most, or at least like half of these plans. A lot of them, since I guess they have to be sort of updated annually, included, who was appointed as members. It seemed a lot of detailed heavy things, a lot of details about, but it wasn't just general goals of what they're preserving. There was a lot of stuff in some of these about individual parcels or buildings or what have you, that was under the purview of these various things.
So Margaret, can you scroll to like the first section just so we can kind of see what they included?
You might have to go back to like Lexington's warrant to see what was voted.
Okay, they don't have, I don't know that they have the warrant in the plan.
No,
Uh,
but a lot of warrants are available.
But then,
So there's this goals section.
mhm. Decision guidelines. Would you like to just go to the first, the first category, CPA category? Let's see if I can find it.
yeah, as MJ was saying, that one there sort of spells out what was on that matrix.
Mm-hmm.
What's feasible for funding and what's not.
Okay.
So what
Here's
you're
the-
saying is we can lift a lot of this.
Yeah,
Yes, that's always legitimate. Honestly, I think that's probably your best bet. I think that's why Stuart, the CPC provides these. So
yeah.
you can.
To
pick
kind
one
of get an idea of what,
Mhm,
Well, he did say we don't have to reinvent the wheel, so.
yes.
mhm. So I don't know if this is really.
Yeah, fortunately, there's no copyright on any of these kind of things.
Right.
No.
So
No, and I wonder if, going with a smaller town, maybe like Plimpton or something like that might even be helpful. I don't know.
Lancaster, is that in there?
Right, and there might
Lancaster's,
be, oh, go ahead.
Lancaster's not. Acton and Canton are both in.
Acton was one of the longer ones, though. I looked at that first, and that was closer to 40 pages.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of it just seems, a lot of what we got in the presentation and stuff seems to be pretty well spelled out in these things, and I mean, I suppose town size probably had something to do with which ones are longer than not, but I think there is a tendency on the longer ones to probably provide more details than are really necessary for anyone's.
So does it make sense to maybe have?
yes, Carolyn takes open space and Elaine takes historical.
Oh, Tim, I love you.
And
Yes.
And who's, James, are you rec?
No, Julie Lee is supposed to be, right?
Julie Lee is supposed to be rec, yeah.
I'll say, so
I
MJ
am at
and
large.
James are just at large, right?
Yeah.
They can
Maybe
do
they could
all the
take-
other part of it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
right. The first sections, the overview, the purpose. Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I'm perfectly willing to help review with anybody what they're working on. MJ,
I'm
did
gonna
you
go back
notice
to
a
Zoom.
pattern in those
There it is.
other units that you looked at, that table of contents overview? I'm happy to, yeah, overview.
Right. Well,
Did the
so
Go ahead.
who would do the community housing? Because, you know, Eloise, it's not like she has nothing else on her plate.
Well, we can chase after MJ or James on those. Either of you interested in working with Eloise on community housing? I mean, it's not that we're asking Eloise to do it, but you really have to sit down with her and
Well,
the nice thing is you can look at the community, the master plan section on
housing.
housing and
And the
Cool.
housing production plan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
so you'd get a lot of language right out of that, but then you could check in with Eloise and you know, flush it out a little more. So does one of you interested in doing that part?
I'll do whatever you need me to do.
So do you want to work with Eloise, James?
I would love to work with Eloise.
There you go. So
I
you're
think
doing housing.
You're in real estate, James, aren't you? Anyway, so
Yeah.
that
Yep.
that seems
Perfect.
and I could work on trying to get together the overall structure and whatever
That
doesn't
overview.
fit and
And
yeah,
I'll,
so
yeah, and I'll work with Julie because open space rec is one category.
And you're all wrapped
Mhm.
into the open space plan anyway. So
Right.
did she help you with the open space plan the last time it was revised?
A little bit. You know, rec, they've got, shall we say, staffing issues.
Yeah.
So, you know, we started working with Greg Tremelling and did a little bit with Julie, and then everything for all of the rec department seemed to fall apart, so we kind of finished it without them.
Okay.
But I will work with Julie.
And Elaine, you're fine working on the historic part?
I can provide the committee, not that it's a huge contribution, but I can provide the committee the PDFs of the housing production plan, the master plan, and whatever other relevant studies you might have that you want to attach as appendices.
That'd be great.
Margaret, do you know if we ever really finished the open space plan?
Well, it's still in CMRPC's hands.
Okay.
I can check with Danny at CMRPC to see where it was at. I know there was a little bit of communication with Walter on
Wow.
parcels. Well, from what I could see, I can check with them and see where it's at.
I
Okay,
ended
yeah,
up,
because it's been over a year.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
I ended up reviewing that chart that they had that looked at each property and
Yeah.
I filled in a lot of blanks, sent that to Danny, and I thought Trish said it was up to snuff. So
Oh,
I'll check with Trish and say, where are we? I'll
Okay.
take care of that.
All right.
But Carolyn, you've got the most recent draft of that, so, right?
I don't know that we do. That's why it just occurred to me. I'm like, so do we actually have, if the most recent draft was sent, you know, quite a while ago, but unless John has it and I am unaware.
I'll call Trish tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, so like Margaret said, the open space plan and the housing production plan can go in there.
master plan.
Conservation Commission may have some other materials that would be able to slide in.
Okay.
And a glossary. I'll look at what other towns have done with glossaries and see, I'll take care of that. So people are content with that?
Yeah, do we want to set kind of not deadlines per se, but by the next meeting, have an outline, or by the next meeting have just kind of a schedule of how this will get done?
I
What do-
suppose that
what are-
also depends on how soon we want to have the next meeting too.
Right.
Mm.
What are our thoughts about frequency of meeting? Are we once a month? Are we, more frequently than that in the beginning right now, or what?
Fair
Well, I
enough.
think
The
if
thing
we
is, you
meet,
got the holidays coming up, so it doesn't seem as though we should do anything until we get into January anyway.
right,
So if
But-
we give ourselves a month and a week, perhaps, the whole notion of coming together on the second week of January or something like that. Look, another member.
No.
I'm good anytime for meetings. The summer's a little hard when they're home. Well, they're home now, but I'm good. I'm away a lot of the summer, but other than that, I can do weekly. I can do monthly. It doesn't matter to me.
Maybe
You
we
can do
should
a
have given
Zoom
him
meeting.
recreation.
What was that?
I know, right? We'll see how attentive Julie is about it, and we'll.
Yeah. So
Julie and I, we work well together, so.
is the notion of getting together the second week of January good for folks?
That's
Yes.
depending on,
Yeah.
what day.
And MJ,
Tuesdays work very well for me, so if we can continue with that as like,
Tuesdays, right?
yeah.
Yeah, as long as, so Tim, we just need to make sure it doesn't conflict with planning
Planning
board.
board.
That would be January 5th then, is your off week, I think.
Okay,
So we'd either be the 5th or the 19th, huh?
5th or the 19th, yes.
January 5th is fine.
The 5th good for folks?
Yeah, that works for me.
Should work.
I think so.
Tuesday's good for you, James, in general?
Yeah, it's really with the Zooms, it's a lot easier than getting in there because of the kids. I have
Sure.
3 under like 8 years old, so Zooms are easy for me. When we start meeting, that's a little harder, but I'm pretty open as long as I can zoom in from wherever we are, if we're in Vermont or here, wherever.
It would appear to me as though we're going to be doing this by Zoom through the spring.
Then whenever you want, I can be there.
Yeah, and then it's a different type of program as we get into after town meeting, when we begin to have to set ourselves up for, reviews and all that sort of stuff, so.
I think I know some people on, if Julie doesn't want to do it, I think I know some people on rec I could force into it if we needed people. So
Unfortunately, there's no one left on rec except for Julie at the moment. She's
really, I thought somebody I knew was on it, but maybe not.
Yeah.
No, they've just been decimated.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
Mm.
All right. Well, I hope they reform, I guess, but
I hope so too. Julie's trying. If you know of anybody who might be interested, please.
I'll ask some people because I thought there was a group that was doing it.
Well,
All right, I gotta get somebody a water real quick. Hold on one second.
If you wag some money in front of their nose, you might begin to get some people showing up.
Right.
Right.
Can I borrow some?
Now, is that money for the individuals or money for the committee?
The committee, of course.
So
good.
I will go ahead and set the Zoom meeting up for you for January 5th, and 6:30 is okay with everyone?
Yeah,
Good
that
for
works.
everyone?
And I'll remember the next one, I swear. Is that all we needed to do with this?
Is there any way that we can find a common place so that as we do projects, we can just stick them up, other people can read it ahead of time?
Mhm. You could.
That was
do
going to be my suggestion.
Google
do a
Docs
Google
is the
Drive.
easiest thing for that.
Yeah. I can set up a Google, a shared Google folder for CPAC, and you'd all have access to it.
Great.
Excellent.
Other business?
I'm just curious, and excuse me, through the chair, I'm not a member. I just have a question. Which template are you going to go with as you work on your various pieces? Are you going to go with the Lexington template, or are you going to use various ones? I was just curious to know.
Well, I think need to look at it a bit more, but I mean, I think the fact that Lexington is shorter is helpful, though. If everyone is looking at their own kind of subject area, then I should imagine that everyone would be able to, you know, historical could look at the, Lane could look at the historical ones for the different sections, and I'd be happy to, I'll look at what falls outside the categories, and I can, try put together a general table of contents to start us off with.
Okay, so I'll put the Lexington Word template into your shared folder. You can work from that. If you'd like that.
Good.
All right.
Any other questions or business? So we'll meet on the 5th of January, 6:30. Everybody's got their topic. The notion is that you're going to familiarize yourself with what Lexington did, and perhaps spend some time looking at some of those other communities and come up with at least an outline for what you might include in your section, and then we can brainstorm with that a little bit. If everything goes into if the stuff you're working on goes into the Google Doc, then we'll be able to share those at the meeting, right?
You definitely would be able to, yes. You'll be able to share screens.
So then we could, and ideally, if you can share what you're generating, prior to the meeting, then folks will get a chance to, review it, and then we can look at it again at the meeting itself and be in a situation where we can probably brainstorm about modifications or additions or new thoughts, All right?
Okay.
Very
Excellent.
good. Do we have a motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn.
and a second?
Second,
And we have to do that by roll call. Elaine,
yes.
James,
Yep.
MJ,
Yes.
Caroline,
Yep.
Tim, yes.